Hey, what's up guys? Team Hard Life Captain Alberto Zertuche here. Alright, one of the videos I talked about was using hot air guns to straighten out your line. A lot of that will work on your heavy duty leaders and heavy test lines. Now, the problem I'm running into is that when I made these sails, it was the inner portion of that spool. And because it was the inner portion of that spool, it has made the mono into small coils. And so as I'm trying to stack it into my bins or my buckets for the sail lines, it's not sitting properly to where I can be happy with the way it looks inside the bucket. And I'm sorry, I'm a little picky on how it looks, but at the same time too, I realize what kind of mess it's going to be with the finished product, and I don't like that. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually taking a hot air gun to the line and straightening it out. And now granted, it's not perfectly straight, but coils going from this to this are a lot easier to work with when I'm trying to put them in the bucket, because one, those take out the outer rings of the bucket, which means they'll soak up more line and it won't stack up as high. But because they're all small, they're stacking up real high and it's becoming a nuisance. So especially for this big 300-foot 50 hook drop line setup, it's not going to work. So I'm starting it, and as you can tell, I'll give you a quick little view right now. This is what it would normally look like inside the bucket. You know, they're very balled up in there and stuff like that. It's very small circles. Even out here on the floor, you can see that it's a tank, it's loop after loop after loop of small loops. However, now that I'm hitting it with the hot air gun, you can see my loops are a lot bigger. So as they sit in the bucket, they're actually starting to sit flat on the bottom, which allows me to put more mono in a smaller area. So this is my portion of showing you how I'm using my hot air gun to make my line a lot straighter, so that way it sits a lot flatter. But this is something you got to be very careful with, because if you put too much heat to it, you weaken the mono and it'll break very easily. So this is a very touchy situation, but it's something I have to do in order to make this work correctly. I definitely want to make sure I can put out a good product, but at the same time too, I don't want my customer to have to deal with that kind of mess when they get it. So here we go. Here the hot air gun is already going, and as you saw, I had already started attaching hooks already, and that's when I discovered this problem. And I kind of knew it was going to be in there, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad of a problem. I figured I could straighten it out, but it's not doing what I needed to do. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to pull out one or two hooks, and I'm going to show y'all the bigger loops that it's creating in comparison. This side I've already hit with the hot air gun, and as you can see, it's almost straight in comparison to this one. It's real wavy. So what I'm doing is I'm using my bench here to lock in my line, and then I'm heating it up just a few seconds to get it to go straight. And as you can see, I'm putting a little bit of pressure keeping my line straight, but I'm also not holding my hot air gun in one single place for too long. Like I said, it can damage your line. So now you can see how this one is real looped up in comparison to this one's a lot straighter. So I'm just going to keep going with that and straighten out all my line. See that there's one loop in comparison to the two loops right there, real quick, almost three. I mean, if you stop it right there, there's 1, 2, 3 coils in comparison to one coil. So that's going to be a major help at the end of the day when I'm trying to get this all into the bucket. I think I'm getting better at it because you can see all the wave on this side, but this one's dang near straight. That's awesome. That's a good example right there. I'll give y'all what I'm seeing over here. Alright, so this stack over here on my left is the line that I've already hit with the hot air gun. This is the right side line that has not been hit with the hot air gun. There is a major difference right there. So I'm going to continue on going with the hot air gun and cleaning up my line, and I'm almost done. I don't have much more to go, so this one will be a nice quick video, but it'll give you the idea of how it can help with a little bit of hot air. Right? Guys, so now that I've used a little heat gun to straighten out my monofilament, now I can start stuffing my main line in here with my drops and actually have a lot easier time in doing so. So let's continue on with this one. Alright guys, so as you can see in the bucket, everything is laying flat the way I want it. And that all was because I was heating up the line to get it to straighten out a bit more. Now, when you're on the top end of a spool, you don't have to deal with that problem because it's on the outer ends of the spool and the loops are bigger, so they'll sit on here just fine. But since I had to heat up the line, as you can see, it's working out for me in comparison to what it would have looked like if I didn't heat up the line. You can see this ball, it forms a ball, and you can't really straighten that out unless you sit there and spin it and spin it and spin it to get it to sit right. Well, that's the two differences in both of them, and more than likely I'll have to do that with all of them, but we'll see. I mean, I'm going to take it one bucket at a time and see how it goes, but I wanted to give y'all a close-up of how it's looking in here as I'm setting it up and go from there. So now I've come to the end right here, and so now there goes my long line clip, my 50 hooks, and my line sitting all nice and neat at the bottom. Just to give you a quick idea, the floats are actually sit in here, so they actually will keep the line in place as well. Obviously this sail will have another layer of floats because it takes 10 floats, but just to give you an idea, that's going to be the first layer. The next layer will contain the 2 red floats and the rest of the yellow floats that are needed to finish off this sail. So thank you for watching, and this is our first step in creating the bucket for the sail line.